Well, good morning everybody, it's John. Today I'm working on some wildlife habitat type setup and just some things for me to enjoy. I know a lot of you guys and gals are a lot like me in that you want to improve your property, some every single year, improve it for the benefit of wildlife and for yourself. And so I'm adding to that today. I've got some hazelnut that I grew from seed. I got these up to about 4 foot tall here, 3.5. Nice hazelnuts. These are a mix of Jefferson and Yamhill. I've got some Crabapples that were purchased from the Pennsylvania State Nursery 2 years ago, Howard Nursery. I just have been lazy in getting them planted, so these are about 2.5, 3 foot tall. These produce about a 3/4 inch to 1 inch, 1.5 inch Crabapples loaded with them. I believe they're the same as you get if you ever hunt in Pennsylvania, some of the state game lands where they release pheasants. So a lot of times they have these hedgerows, long hedgerows of crabapple mixed with other things. They grow to be maybe 20, 25 foot tall, produce zillions of fruit that all sorts of wildlife can eat. So there's that. And finally, I planted some Asian pear last year, or maybe 2 years ago. One of them didn't take. I do have some rootstock sprouting from that. I purchased a replacement for that. Also purchased some hazelnut seeds to add to my collection. And finally, 2 Ginkgo Biloba trees just to add diversity. It's an old tree, unique leaf. I thought I would add it out here. I know they grow it on some properties. The fruit itself smells terrible, but and I guess maybe it's edible and they use ginkgo for antidepressant and other uses, but I don't intend to do that. I just want to grow a different tree that I've never grown before. So inside here there should be 2 Ginkgo Biloba trees. I think I may have purchased some seeds too, I can't remember, but I got this from Burnt Ridge Nursery. I've purchased things from there. These hazels came from Burnt Ridge Nursery when I grew them from seed. So that's what the plan is today. I'm going to get started first on getting some water from the pond and start soaking the bare roots of this Asian pear. And while they soak, I'll go dig some holes and we're going to add to our wildlife habitat with some unique trees. So follow along. So here comes the tree. Comes with a bamboo stake, it looks like, to help protect it maybe during shipping. And in it, also you can see my hazelnuts. Now it would have been nice to have those last fall so I could stratify them. So I guess I'll stratify those and do them next spring. Here, I got the Korean Giant Asian Pear Donbae, D-O-N-B-A-E. It fertilizes the one that I have, which I think is Shinko, but I'll verify that. And then here we have 2 Ginkgo seedlings. They already starting to put their leaves out a little bit, if you can see that. Just a little bit of bud. They should be fine. I'm going to soak those, but we're going to gather up some water. To soak that in. Yeah, while we're at it, I'll feed some fish. Some nice bluegill coming up to eat. Not super aggressive yet. We got kind of a bunch of fish hanging out there nearby. Bunch of minnows of some sort here. It's good to see. I've been a little worried about the amount of mouths we've introduced with 60 or 70 perch. trickle you hear is a little bit of the water overflow. Put those in my bucket of water. Let those rehydrate. Nice little marker. Soil health. Nice healthy fat worm. We're still letting the pear hydrate, so I'm going to go dig some more holes. Well, we're going to plant this crabapple. This was growing in my nursery bed in a pot. This is one of the tree pots, the 3x8. You can see plenty of root growth out the bottom. It's got that circle there. It was growing into good soil. I just uprooted it just yesterday to load it into the truck. So it probably could have done better if I hadn't waited 2 years to get it planted. 1 year would have been better, but now we have this really nice plant. It looks pretty healthy overall. The roots should extend up through here, and if they won't, I can cut the plant up, separate those roots out, and we're going to plant this here, and then we'll get a cage around it. So I dug the hole like they kind of described, 2 times the size of the tree, and then spread the roots out, and then I'll leave the soil line just an inch or so above where it was, or maybe even, depending on how it all works out here. And then we'll water all these in at the last, as our last act of the day. And mainly for the first couple years, it'll just be kind of keeping the weeds away from the roots, and then it'll start shading those out on its own and doing well. Tree number 1 in the ground. Well, it's been about an hour and 15 minutes since I placed these trees into the water, and it's time to take them out, get them in the ground. So we've got the roots all soaked up. We've got the hole kind of dug and kind of set up for how I think the tree will do best. Kind of looking on the tree where the soil line was, it looks like kind of about right there was the line. And I want that to be even, at least maybe a ½ inch above. And I'm going to start filling in dirt around these roots, and with this sunshine, she'll start waking up. And we got rain, little bit of rain, but warm, coming over the next couple days. That'll kind of let the tree get really watered in beyond what I do here. And I'll keep a close eye on it and see how she's doing through the summer. Trim off any sprouts that come off of the rootstock. I'm no expert on grafting, but I'm going to say this was bud grafted. There you have it. Asian pear, Korean Giant Asian Pear, Don Bay, Burnt Ridge Nursery. I've had good luck with their trees before. And like I said, the hazelnuts I'll be planting here in a little bit, they're all from seed that I bought from them. And they're doing great. So pretty reasonable prices. They're out of Washington. I don't know anything about them otherwise. I don't get any compensation or anything, but they've been good to me. We'll get it watered in here shortly. Heavy. I don't have a super heavy hammer. I'm sure you guys remember the video where I was building these fence cages. They're just cut now with the free end that I'll use to kind of tie off on itself. And then I could either weave them around the post or I'll use releasable zip ties, which is what I'm going to use today. So here's the tree cage. This is smaller than on the other trees, and I've been advised to make them bigger, and I might make a bigger one for this at some point. Just not prepared to do that today. But this will at least protect the top shoot for the initial growth and some of the side shoots, and then I can work on getting something bigger until it's big enough to handle the pressure from bigger animals. Now I'm doing every other one here to get started, but you want to put all these in, otherwise these will grab you and you will not like it. Although it's not a bad idea to leave one or two out and maybe give the deer and bear an idea that it's not good to rub up against it. My luck, they'd want to start rubbing themselves on it. Get it to a whole round shape here. That'll be just bigger than a foot. And then I can just put this right over. I'll put a couple releasable zip ties on here. And I'll come trim this, otherwise I've had bear get interested in that and chew on it. Nice and easy. Move on to the next one. Well, we've got 7 crabapple, 3 hazelnuts, 1 chestnut, and 1 Asian pear planted. It took me 3 hours and 20 minutes to do that. I've learned a lot. I also put cages on some trees that are out here, so maybe it was 3 hours exactly, but that's not a lot. 11 or 12 trees in 3 hours. That's about 4 per hour, 15-minute average. I can plant them faster if I don't tube them. If I don't put a fence around them, it's way faster, it's way cheaper, but it doesn't work. I mean, you may get lucky and get a few trees to survive. If you have really low deer density, maybe you have better success, but if you live where a lot of deer are and have habitat that they want, you must protect your trees. So far we got the 12-inch diameter tree, 13-inch diameter fencing around. It's only 4 foot tall, but you know, this will start growing out and we'll see how tall it gets. If it doesn't get tall enough, well, we can go to a taller fence or add a section, or we can just make it wider, which is probably what I'll do for this tree, but not for the crabapples. They're pretty hardy and they should push up pretty quickly here. But 3 hours of work out here in the beautiful farmland out in the orchard, building a little slice of paradise, trying to improve, you know, every little bit I can. Hopefully you're having a great day. Hope things are coming along well for you. We've moved our trees outside, and pretty soon we'll have them hardened off and ready to go to their new homes. So appreciate you watching. Remember, if you're not out there growing, you're dying.